The day that I quit the fire department was the day that I died to my father. Every man has to go through that transition period from boy to man. It's typically an event. Something happens somewhere between the ages of 15 and 25. I know that's broad range, but it's typically an event that creates that change. A switch flips, and you're no longer a son. You're now another man. You make that transition. For me, it was when I quit the fire department. You see, my father had been a fireman for 44 years. It's how he built his life. That's what gave him everything that he has today. And it created all of the abundance that he was then able to give to his children and me. The problem was, I didn't want that life after having done it for 8 years. I wanted more. I wanted a different life. And it's not just because I had reasons for it. And it's not that he was a bad guy. He's a great guy, and I have immense respect for him. I just didn't want the life that he had. So when I quit the fire department, I didn't tell him. And it wasn't until 2 months later where he reached out to me while we were at my house loading up the pickup truck, and we finished and slammed the tailgate shut, and he turns to me and he says, "Hey, why didn't you tell me when you quit?" I told him it's because he would have crushed my dreams. And I know that he wouldn't have wanted to do that, consciously. That's just him. He only knows how to live one way. And the way that I want to live is unknown to him. So I told him, why would I ask you how to get what I want if you don't have it? You don't know how to go where I want to go. So I didn't tell you because I didn't want you to talk me out of it. I've got so much respect for that man, and he means so much to me that it might have worked. I might have stayed. But what it really came down to was I wanted my life more than I wanted him to be proud of me for the life that I was living. It was so hard. Oh, it was so hard. One of the hardest things that I've ever done. Now, this didn't just come out of nowhere. It wasn't just something that I one day came up with. There was an event that led to this. I had always had that feeling in here that I was meant for something other than what I was doing while working at the fire department, while busting my ass as a firefighter paramedic. But one day I was at the kitchen table at the fire station, Station 4, and I was talking to some of the other guys, and I was like, you know what, let's run the numbers. What would it look like if I worked every single day for an entire year? What am I worth? What's a whole year worth to this department? What's my time worth? If I'm gone every single day, 365 days, earning overtime. It wasn't much. A few $100,000 a year. I think about $210,000. And that's if I worked every single day and never saw my family. I can't give them the life that I want to give them, being gone all the time and only earning $210,000 a year. I knew that I needed a new opportunity vehicle. I needed a method of earning that would have uncapped potential. But I also knew that I couldn't just up and leave the fire department with a family. How am I going to put food on the table? Because you can't eat likes and followers. At that time, I was building Scorch Marker. I was working really hard on it. I would spend time in the evenings, spend time on my days off, and I was just pouring myself into it, doing the best that I could in between 911 calls. I worked backwards from what I needed to quit. But there was one thing that I did that created a trigger point. I worked backwards from the amount of money that I would need to leave. For example, I knew that in order to quit the fire department, I would need to be earning enough money to replace my salary, my pension, and my benefits or health insurance. So I calculated it out. How much money would I need to pull out of my business and pay myself with every single month to achieve those goals? The answer was $6,000 a month. See, at the time I was only making $24 an hour. I was taking home like $2,200 a paycheck. But I had a pension and a retirement and health insurance and, you know. So I needed to pull $4,000 a month in take-home pay. That's what I needed to pay myself to replace the salary. Then I needed $1,400 a month to cover health insurance for a family of 4. And then I needed $600 to put into a Roth IRA every single month so that I could cover my pension. So as soon as I hit that number, I knew that I could leave. And that time came in Christmas of 2020. The fire department, someone always has to be on duty. We need a butt in every seat no matter what happens, no matter what day it is, no matter how many people are available. And if they don't have anyone that's available and willing to work, they force you to stay, or they tell you you have to work. And if you don't, you can lose your job. It was mid-December and we're coming up on Christmas. And the rule is that you didn't have to work Christmas Day and Christmas Eve. You only have to work one of them. You would never have to work both. My family celebrates Christmas morning, so I was working Christmas Eve, and I knew that I'd be able to go home the next morning to my family, open presents, and do the whole thing. Well, the captain walked in to the kitchen at that time, and he was like, "Hey guys, I got some bad news for you." He's talking to myself and my partner Jeff at the time. We were both firemen. He said, "Chief called. Evan, you're forced. Christmas Day. I'm sorry, man. You got to work both." It's like, "Are you serious, Cap? What about the rule?" "Sorry, man. I don't know what to tell you." "You know what, Cap? I'd like you to help me put in my 2 weeks I quit." "Evan, are you serious right now?" "Oh, yeah, I'm serious. I'm not working another Christmas. I'm not doing it. I want more. And this place isn't giving it to me. Really appreciate it if you could help me put in my 2 weeks. Because I ain't coming in Christmas." That was the day I was no longer a fireman. I finished out my time, burned all my days, used up the PTO, the sick leave, converted my pension into my Roth IRA, rolled it over, grabbed my 457B or my 401k for those that have it, and rolled that over into my Roth IRA as well, paid the taxes on it and everything, cleaned up all the loose ends and turned in my gear, and I was gone. 2 months later, I had that conversation with my dad. It's hard for somebody whose identity is wrapped up in what they do to let a piece of them go. I did. It's just another thing that made it hard. Had I not had the business to support us and take care of us, it wouldn't have even been an option on the table. And it took me 3 years to build that business in the background just to get it to a point where I could pull $6,000 a month out of it. I'm glad I did, because the opportunity vehicle that I have now is unlimited. I directly affect the inputs, and those inputs directly affect the outputs of my business. There's no cap on my earning potential. It could be 1,000, 100,000, 100 million, a billion. Just depends on how much effort you want to put into making yourself grow, into becoming a new person as often as you possibly can. And by becoming a new person, I mean growing and changing who you are to become the person capable of. The person capable of running an 8-figure brand, the person capable of creating YouTube videos, the person capable of teaching others and, helping hundreds of business owners do their thing, like the person capable of. And the price for that life is your old life. I wanted the new life more than I wanted to keep the old life. I wanted to live the way that I wanted to live more than I wanted my dad to be proud of me. I wanted to live the way I wanted to live more than I wanted to be respected and friends with the guys that I worked with. I was willing to give it up, and I absolutely did. Now, I still talk to some of those guys. We're still friends. Not nearly as often. And yes, I still talk to my dad. We have a great relationship. It was a tumultuous time in my life. I was going through that transition. going from son to man. We're both men here in this world. And I know I'm not alone. I am right smack dab in the middle of average. I am not special. I am pretty much average in every single category. Physically, mentally, all of it. But I have no quit. And I think that's one thing that's really helped. Discipline, tenacity, determination, motivation, enthusiasm. It was the soft skills, I think, that really played a big part in my life. But those were skills I learned in the fire department. So I don't wish to shut the door on that part of my life. But I want to borrow from it, use from it, and pull from it so that I can be a better version of me now. I would be a shadow of who I am today without the experience. Think about it. Think about the thousands of people where I was the guy that they called on the worst day of their life. How many worst days did I see? Give me some perspective. My life is golden. It's great. And so is yours. But you're alive. The fact that I even get to talk to my dad still is an absolute blessing. A lot of people don't even have their dad in their life. And I do. And I value that, and I see the importance in it. And I really put some effort into rebuilding that relationship because it's deeply important to me. I want that in my life, and I want my kids to have that relationship, and it exists. It can be done. If you want it, you can have it. But I believe that you can have anything you want. You just can't have everything you want. And in order to figure that out, you have to first decide what it is that you want in life. I did. I've done that hard work. I know what I want. It's very clear to me. Meaningful work with meaningful people, and I want to create as much abundance and opportunity as humanly possible. I want to see how far I can take this game and see what kind of person I can become in the process. The decisions that I make are in line with that mission. That's why I'm building what I'm building. That's why I started these communities. That's why I make videos, so I can attract like-minded individuals just like us, so that I don't have to be alone anymore. I want to do this with everyone else. I want to do this with people. I want a group of wealthy friends that are in the same space, struggling with the same things, working on the same stuff, and we can help each other. But I've been unsuccessful in finding that tribe. I haven't found them. I've searched and I've looked and I've spent the money, and I'm sure there's more I could do. But in my frustration, I'm like, you know what? Now I'm just going to do it my way. I'm just going to build this for us so that we have a place to go and together. Like, the future is so exciting. You kidding me? Inviting you to the Redwoods so that we can have a mastermind here and have a chef cook for us, and we play golf and we work out and we go on hikes and we work on our businesses and we talk about our products and our companies and we figure out how to better serve our customers. And there's something really special about that. It just really fires me up. It gets me excited. So I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep building it. And my goal is to surround myself with other individuals just like us. Growth-minded individuals who want more. Who want to be part of something greater than themselves. I'm really excited for that. The price of your new life is your old life. What do you need to give up in order to get to the next level? So what chapter do you need to close to move on to the next one?